What's up, fellas? So the community has decided that we're going to talk about this first. I made a every question you've ever had about bulking and cutting video about a year ago, and I covered a lot of ground in that video, which everything in that video is still valid, but I want to tread on some new ground in this video and just answer some more questions from Instagram and YouTube about bulking and cutting, because we're all going to have to do it at some point in some form or fashion. So real quick, just some basics to address some of the frequently asked questions. First and foremost, bro, if you want to gain muscle at the fastest rate that you can, build strength at the fastest rate that you can, you need to be in a calorie surplus. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Second most is there is no way to avoid gaining fat while in a bulk. And then lastly, it takes a lot longer to lose your aesthetics and lose your abs, lose the leanness in your face on a bulk than a lot of people think if you do it properly and correctly. All right, so the top rated question on YouTube is gonna be our first one. And this fella basically wants to know, what do you do after a cut? Do you go into maintenance? Do you start to go back up into a bulk? What do you do? So the last time that I cut, which was like a year and a half ago, what I did was pretty simple, bro. You just immediately start to introduce calories. The thing with cutting down to a really lean body fat percentage, so in my case, it was like sub 10% body fat. I don't know the exact body fat percentage. I was 169 pounds at 5'11", which is light, okay? So when you introduce those calories, a lot of the weight gain that you're going to experience at first, like the first 5 pounds, is just going to be like glycogen, water, like all the stuff that you were depleted of by being really lean. Now, after you do that, you're going to reach like a new maintenance weight, right? So for me, that was like 172 to like 173 pounds. From there, I'm just like, man, I want to build some muscle. I don't want to maintain this level of leanness and this body weight. I want to get stronger and bigger. So from there, I just added a small surplus. One thing I'll speak to, which was another frequently asked question, was what about progressively overloading calories? Stands to reason that if you're at, in my case, 2,500 calories with like 10,000 steps a day, that's what I used to cut down to the level that I got to. I needed to go to 2,700 to get my 5 pounds of, water and glycogen. And then after that, I needed to continue to add more calories to continue to gain weight. You just need to play with that, increasing calories little by little until you're in an actual surplus and you're actually able to grow with it. From there, bro, it's just bulking and training hard, training effectively. If you have any questions about a good program that you could follow while you're bulking, I literally linked to 2 in each and every video that are free and customizable. So this question's a really good one. So if you don't weigh yourself and you don't count calories, how do you measure what a good bulk is? Is it just performance? That's certainly one way of going about it. So I say that if you're following a good program and your form is good, so you're not increasing in weight or reps at the expense of those things, you can bet that you're making progress. So if your bicep curl goes from 30 pounds for 10 reps to 50 pounds for 10 reps and you've maintained a standard of form, your biceps are bigger and stronger and the bulk is working. And then just visually looking in the mirror, bro, like, hey, my abs are starting to look rockier. Maybe they're growing. I think that style of bulking, like intuitively, could have a lot of benefits because it would force you to periodically do like a form audit and then pay more attention to your training. The training is the most important part of a bulk. It's not necessarily the calories. The calories is just the money that you're paying your workers to go build something. If your builders are shitty, you're hustling in reverse. So that's going to ensure that you keep a close eye on your training. So I wouldn't do that personally because I feel like you can just audit your training without doing that, but that would force you to do that to be successful. So real quick, this is just the tapping in with the community type of thing. This fella said you should do your own bulking food tier list. My buddy Sam did his. Y'all can check that out after this one. But would y'all be interested in seeing a bulking food tier list? It'd be just fun. So keep that in mind. But if you want to see that, let me know. This fella wants to know how important food quality is versus just hitting calories, in my opinion. This can go a lot of ways. So I am someone where I say, you should really be trying to bulk with as much clean food as you can, not because, burgers and pizza and Pop-Tarts are bad, but because they're micronutriently deficient, right? So they don't have your vitamins, your minerals, or anything that you need to, one, be satiated, two, prevent injuries from things like lack of electrolytes and things of that nature. And then they're not very filling either, right? So 3,000 calories of Oreos and 3,000 calories of lean beef, chicken, rice, potatoes, and vegetables is completely different dimensions of food quality. And one is gonna have you feel like shit, your digestion's gonna be messed up, and then you're not getting the protein that you need, so on and so forth. So realistically though, you're gonna need to strike a balance between the two, because almost no one who isn't like absolutely dedicated to getting bigger or stronger is gonna be on point 1,000% of the time. It's just gonna be making sure that okay, most of my meals, or all of them, I'm going to eat some vegetables, some protein, drink some water, and I'm going to salt my food so I can get my electrolytes, my vitamins, my minerals. And if I have something cheaty or dirty with my food, it's just going to be what it is, because I'm already hitting these key points of interest. I'm getting my protein, my calories, my macros, and my electrolytes and my minerals and things like that. So this one is a great question. I've actually spoken on this a little bit in a video that I made a while ago, but he wants to know, or they want to know, what physical activity level should I maintain during my bulks, if at all? I'm a big believer in, and this is just my personal philosophy, that every day I'm going to be physically active. Every day I make sure that I go on walks amounting to at least 10,000 steps. Oftentimes it's like 12, 15,000. And I do that no matter if I'm bulking or cutting. That comes with benefits, and it comes with detriments if you overdo it. I wouldn't say do more than that, because 15,000 steps is a lot. That's like 5 miles, I think. You know, a couple 10-minute walks a day, basically. What it does is it lets you eat more calories both on a bulk and a cut. So I cut to sub 10% body fat on like 2,500 calories. Also, it keeps your heart healthy. It aids in recovery. Walking really makes my hips and my knees feel really good. But it can also start to take more than it gives. So if you're walking so much that it's hard for you to eat back the calories that you burn from doing that, I would cut back on the walking, but keep it at a minimum every day, 8,000 steps a day at least. And if you're not able to do that now, work up to it. I'm gonna have a little bit of something for everybody in here. So here's a question for a fella that he's been lean most of his life. He doesn't have the best relationship with food, and he's worried that the cut will be too hard on him psychologically now that he's been bulking for a long time. So he's just been having a rough time lately. Couple of things I'll say, bro. So first and foremost, you don't have to cut to the point where, one, you feel like crap, you're thinking about food all the time, or it's really all that different from what you're doing now. Overall, I think if you're someone that is prone to extreme lows with the way that you feel about yourself, maintaining a moderate approach and being disciplined with just being patient and doing something that won't lead to you crashing or feeling terrible about yourself is the best way to go about it. Amazing Potato gave me an amazing question. They've basically been training for a couple of years. They've gone from like 67 kg to like 90 kg, which good work, by the way, bro. Good freaking gains. So give this man a round of applause in the comments. He put in some good work. He did exactly what he needs to do. But he says that he estimates he's about 22% body fat, and he is making great progress. But he reckons, should I cut to like 12 to 15% body fat if I'm making good progress? If you've been bulking for a long time or cutting for a long time, it's easy to have like a misperception of what your body actually looks like. So on the opposite end of the spectrum, when I was very, very lean about a year and a half ago, there were days at 169 pounds at 5'11" where I'm like, bro, I'm fat. I feel fat, okay? And I go back and I look at those pictures and I'm like, bro, I haven't been this lean in a while. And it's just crazy to think about how different my perception of myself was at that time. So much the same, all that to say, you may be a little bit leaner than you think you are. What you think may be 22% because your abs are a little less visible or they're blurry, maybe like 17, 18%, which is like the golden, nugget of gains for people. There's going to be a body fat percentage where you're above your baseline a little bit, and you notice that your training is really good, your recovery is really good, and you're just flying. I would just take a second look at how lean you actually are. If you want to send me a picture on Instagram even, I could tell you like, yeah, you're about this body fat percentage, or no, yeah, maybe it is time for you to cut. But I reckon that if you're just now reaching, or you have reached that point in your training where, yeah, I'm progressing, everything is seamless, I think it's more valuable for you to reassess that. And this is going to be very valuable to people watching, because this is exactly where you want to be, bro. All right, fellas, this is the last question. This was a ton of fun. If you want to see another episode soon, let me know. I'll put together episode 3. I want to space these out at least a month apart, so I'm not going to be dropping one every week. So just keep that in mind. But if you want to see another episode, I'll do another one. But this fella wants to know, what are some things that you would tell a guy if it was his first time deliberately cutting? Like, what are some things you wish you knew? So I think for me, first and foremost, you don't need to get shredded, bro. The point of cutting is to make room for bulking. You do not need to get shredded to make room for bulking. Most people are going to try to get shredded once. It's just, we're men, we're people that are curious, we want to push our limits. We see that other dudes are shredded, we want to get shredded too. But you don't have to do that, right? And it's not even really healthy to be that lean, bro. Like, if you were in nature and you saw an animal that was shredded to the bone, you would look at it like it was sick, like there was something wrong with it. Somebody get this lion a gazelle to eat or something, right? So much the same. Yeah, I guess as humans, it looks cool to be able to see every muscle, but it's not a very healthy state to be in. You don't need to be super lean to see your abs. You can be 20% body fat and have fully visible abs if your muscles are big enough. So cut to the point where you lost about 20 pounds or so, and you have 20 pounds then that you can gain in a bulk. You don't have to get super lean to do that. So it's just a psychology piece. It's me speaking to you, me to you. You don't have to get super lean. Also, there are things that you need to pay attention to during your cut that I think a lot of people don't pay attention to. I think most people are good about eating vegetables because you're going to need to, more than likely, to increase satiety within your diet, like fullness, to make sure that you're not constantly hungry all the time, that you're full. A lot of people don't pay attention to like their magnesium, their sodium, their potassium, like their vitamins and minerals. I think that in you eating vegetables to stay full, you need to still eat a variety of vegetables to make sure that you're getting every micronutrient that you need in your diet. Then you need things like iron. There's a lot of things that you need in your diet to be healthy that are easier to get when you have more calories to work with. But when you restrict your calories, a lot of people become deficient in those things just by not eating a well-balanced diet, by eating a variety of fruits, vegetables, different protein sources, carb sources, things of that nature. All right, fellas, it's cold outside and I was just under the weather, and I know people say being outside when it's cold doesn't get you sick, but I'm cold, I'm hungry. If you have any questions about this video, please let me know. What do you want to see in the next one? And then watch these videos now that you've watched this one. Y'all have a beautiful day. Also, real quick, before somebody asks in the comments, if the question is, should you bulk? The answer is what? The answer is yes. Y'all have a beautiful day.